Been catching up on a lot of things, some TV, which I'll get to in a moment. But I did want to touch on Havoc, which was a new action film by Netflix starring Tom Hardy, directed by Gareth Evans of the Raid fame. Man, this was a real struggle. It's like the most paint by number action film I've seen in a while. Tom Hardy plays, a tough cop who doesn't play by the rules but gets results and is rooting out corruption and every like procedural you've ever heard. It starts with this about 5-minute chase scene that is entirely CGI. Like it's a car chase. It looks like a video game cutscene, and like there's not a single real vehicle in it. And it's cut between, the highway stuff is clearly CGI, and then you'll have some people in the back of a car or in the back of a truck, those sorts. So it cuts between that to try and hide the fact that it's all CGI, but it's not fooling anyone. The plot is super convoluted. That there's rival gangs, there's corrupt police. Forrest Whitaker's in it as the corrupt mayor, and his son's involved, and his girlfriend's involved, and there's the Chinese gang, and Timothy Oliphant is in it as well. There is a great action set piece in the middle of the movie. You have to wait 55 minutes before the action starts, and a pretty long action scene. But the action itself is kind of cartoonish and over the top. It's one of those things where everyone has an automatic weapon and is just firing like hundreds of rounds at each other. But then, of course, no one is actually getting hit half the time besides faceless goons. A bunch of people show up out of nowhere in this big club fight with weapons kind of seemingly out of nowhere. They all have like cleavers and like bladed weapons. There's a couple of cool things in there, but it's just like, it's hard to keep up with what's really going on. Everyone has infinite ammo like a video game, and it's just so boring. Tom Hardy doesn't really get in on a lot of the action. He's definitely just like he's there for the bad cop acting scenes, and then he kind of lets his stunt double do all the work in the action scenes. Yeah. But man, it was just crucially boring. It took me like 4 sessions to watch to get through it.
I haven't watched it, but yeah, before we were talking about putting this episode together, I went and hit YouTube and just looked up. I'll often go, like for films we're going to talk about, I'll look up reviews and just see what other thumbnails are people using? How are people titling their reviews? Maybe there's some sneaky way I can like get us in front of the algo or something, right? And I looked up Havoc, and dude, everybody's dunking on this movie. It doesn't make sense. Like on paper, I haven't seen it. You watched it. On paper, it's Gareth Evans, director of The Raid. Very exciting, right? You got Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker, Timothy Oliphant. Pretty good cast. You got that like John Wick setting. It's like grimy and city, and they go into a club with like cool lights and stuff, and you got a bunch of guns and action and unloaded ammo. Like, doesn't sound like it'd be a boring movie. That doesn't sound like that's where that'd go. But I guess it's just a whole lot more drama. I mean, what's missing?
I mean, it's not even drama, because again, it's a convoluted plot of like a bunch of the heads of a gang get killed. They blame it on the mayor's son. It wasn't really the mayor's son, but everyone's after him. There's some subplot involving police corruption, which I didn't really make sense. It's hitting all these beats we've all seen before, and it just kind of takes forever to get through them. Tom Hardy does do a good American accent, and he does a lot of really good like eyeball acting, which is a lot of fun. It's just it just takes so long to get to the action, and all the procedural cop stuff is just real boring and just not interesting. And by the time he finally gets to the action, it's just so cartoonish and fake.
Another Netflix dud. I feel like Hardy needs a better agent, man. Like, I know he did fine on Venom, but like he just didn't seem particularly like, I don't know, fulfilled by those roles. And like, I haven't really seen him doing other stuff. Like, he's just in such a weird spot right now. Whittaker, meanwhile, like could retire and be fine. I think he's just getting a bag, right?
Yeah, he's fine. He's not in it very long. Reminds me a little bit of Extraction with Chris Hemsworth, which with the first one of those movies actually has a lot of really good action, and it's very well coordinated. Like there's a lot of one takes where they had to learn lots of fight and gun choreography, and it's much more down to earth, and it's really impressive because of the amount of work. Like this is it's so sloppy all the time. Tom Hardy does have a good flying kick at one point that made me laugh. I had to rewind and watch it, but it's missing that kind of more grounded entertainment. Like, oh wow, this is really an action star. Like I said, Tom Hardy's like, got his back turned, let the stunt double take all the hits half the time.
Yeah, I mean the trailer makes it look like it's an action-packed 90 minutes, right? Like lots of handheld, shaky cam, big action. Like that stuff looks like a good time. But also, yeah, it's intercut with like Tom Hardy and Forrest Whitaker like talking in a room and being tense with one another, which is exciting. I just saw a poster the other day for Netflix's The Old Guard 2, starring Charlize Theron, which we watched The Old Guard here on this show. Thought it was fine. They did Extraction 2. You mentioned Extraction. You think we're getting a Havoc 2 at some point?
I mean, maybe. It's allegedly one of the top, it's on the Netflix top 10, but like you can never really trust those since those are all in-house.
Yeah. All right, so gonna say soft pass. It sounds like maybe not a recommend.
Soft pass. Look up the club fight scene on YouTube. Look for the clips because that's a little entertaining. That's 8 minutes worth your time.
Well, I haven't watched much because I was traveling. You have watched some prestige TV that I think is worth reporting on. What have you been watching over there?
So I watched the latest 2 episodes of The Rehearsal, Nathan Fielder's show. And this past episode, I watched episodes 2 and 3. Episode 3, which is called Pilot's Code, is probably literally some of the best TV I've ever seen in my life. Like, I guarantee you have never seen anything like what happened in episode 3. And I don't want to get into it too much other than to say the theme of the entire season is aviation safety, which is actually a very serious subject that we see in the first episode is a lot of times due to poor communication in the cockpit. And Nathan Fielder is generally trying to address this. But episode 3 starts with they meet this couple who has cloned their dog. Like their dog died and they cloned it, and they ended up getting 3 clones of it. But they say, well, the personality isn't really the same. So this is where the episode starts, and that's all I'm going to say. And it's still somehow about airline safety. And the way it goes with all these episodes, you have no idea where they're going to go. But it's literally some of the most brilliant things I've ever seen on TV. And even if you haven't watched any of The Rehearsal, you just go straight to episode 3, Pilot's Code, and check it out. It's gonna blow your mind.
I might have to. I've gotten so many memes and so much content from this episode of The Rehearsal specifically that I think I might have to go check it out. I kind of skipped the first season because it reminded me a lot of Nathan For You, and I was just watching a lot of TV. Season 2, I'm a couple behind here, but yeah, this one specifically seems to be like an Emmy nominated show or something. Like this just seems to have a lot of buzz around it. What else?
I've also watched the latest 2 episodes of The Last of Us, episode 3 and 4. Won't talk too much on that other than, Ellie is on a revenge mission with her pal Dina, and it's good. Last episode, very action-packed, lots happening. We meet Jeffrey Wright's character, Isaac, who he also plays in the video game itself, and we get a little bit more backstory on him. That show continues to impress, and that's one of my appointment viewing, like, clear my schedule, 8 p.m. Sunday night, I'm watching The Last of Us.
It's stressing me out, man. I haven't had a lot of time to keep up with prestige TV, and obviously HBO always turns out. But after this last season of Severance, I thought it's sweeping the Emmys. Everybody get out of Severance's way. It's taking it home. And now I keep hearing about banger television. I'm like, dude, people are going to forget about Severance by the time the Emmys come out. It's going to be dead and buried. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
I wanted to mention I've dropped off the studio. I watched the first 5 episodes and it's fine, but I would rather watch The Rehearsal. I just can't get into the studio enough.
Yeah, the studio just got greenlit for season 2, and I have not watched since the 2nd episode. And I liked it fine, but like I'm just busy. I don't have an hour to sit down and watch the studio, and I should probably check out The Rehearsal, and I haven't caught up on Last of Us. Like I got too much good television out there. Like it's a problem of abundance. And it's an abundance problem with the studio, but I think it's a fine show. Glad they're getting another season, I guess. Curious to see where it heads next.